As the head social influencer at High Performing Coach, Tina Brigley firmly believes that storytelling and marketing is the best and most authentic way to deeply connect with people. She trains and develops coaches to be high performers. She joined me this week to provide her tricks of the trade on how we can all maximize our level of productivity and production to be highly contributing members of a vibrant society. I'm Kevin McShann. Let's have this conversation. So, Tina, if you're ready, I welcome you to the program, and I'm excited to talk to you today all about potential and maximizing our productivity. Great to see you, and thanks for hanging out with me today on my birthday.
Oh my gosh, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me and thank you for inviting me to have this conversation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, hence the name of the show, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm wondering if I can start you off. I know that you train and coach people to reach their maximum potential. So I'm wondering if I can ask you, what's the most rewarding part of your job, and what have you learned about people development through the work that you do?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding part of my job is when a coach has an aha moment, when they see something they've never seen before and it makes a profound difference in their life and they take new actions and get new results and reach their potential, their true authentic potential. Just that light bulb that goes off is just so great for me. It's like when everything clicks. That's probably the most rewarding part of my job. And reaching their potential, I believe, starts from being aware of the inside, what's going on in our hearts, what's going on in our minds. And when we start really being quiet and listening to that inner voice, I believe that's when we start really reaching our potential.
And tell me, I know that you say that storytelling and marketing are sort of interconnected when we look at deeply connecting with people. So I'm wondering if you can tell me more about that.
Yeah, like I believe that facts tell and stories sell. So when we share ourselves with the world, people feel a deep connection. They feel like they know you, they like you, and they trust you because they see themselves in you. And so, one of the things that I really help train and develop coaches in particular to do is share themselves with the world. When I read your profile and you shared, you like going through your treatments and your physiotherapy and everything, I right away felt a connection because I knew part of you. I knew your story. So what I'm doing with coaches is helping them see the value in their life experiences and share it in a way that connects with their people so that their people feel like, oh man, that is me. And if you can get through it, I can do it too. But I feel like sometimes people are afraid to share themselves with the world. They feel afraid. And I want to change that. I want everybody to share themselves in a way that really adds value to other people's lives.
And Tina, I'm curious to ask you about the prospect of being vulnerable and open with emotions. Certainly, with us all living through COVID, and having more time for self reflection. I'm wondering your thoughts on the power of being vulnerable through emotion.
Yeah, I was a type of person at a very young age. I learned be strong, don't show emotion. Emotion is a sign of weakness. So for most of my life, I stuffed emotions in an attempt to be strong. But I realized my strength actually came from being vulnerable and sharing emotion. And, in this world that we're living in with COVID and people feeling certain ways and not being able to come to grips with this new reality that we're living in, I believe that they're replacing those emotions with habits, going to social media, being more addicted to technology, drinking a little bit more, and all of these habits that we have is an attempt to suppress some of our emotions. But when we can just be with our emotions and we aren't our emotions, so, so many people say, I'm so depressed right now. You are not depressed, but you're experiencing the emotion, a depressed emotion. Or people will say, oh, I'm so anxious. No, you're not anxious. You're having anxious feelings. So it's almost like people become their emotions when really they're not. Those are just feelings that you're experiencing, but that becomes their identity. And so I believe that when we just face our emotions and see them as just that, not part of who we are, but just part of what we're experiencing, then we can accept them. We can accept that we're having these emotions right now, and it's okay to feel those emotions. And it's okay to feel a little sad that we can't see our family. And it's okay to feel a little anxious about the uncertainty, as long as we're not attaching that to our identity, who we believe ourselves to be. Um, so that's one of the things that I really try and hit home with as people, as human beings. Don't be attached to those emotions. They don't have to become you. They're just a part of you.
Absolutely, and I know for both of us, we were both born and raised here in Windsor, and I know that you have a national platform. So I'm wondering, what's the most fulfilling part for you when you're on these national platforms, inspiring people, and how proud are you to represent this region of the country?
Oh my gosh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud to be Canadian. I'm so proud to be a Windsorite. And I'm so proud to have an international platform. And what I really got, we have clients from United Emirates, from South Africa, from Ireland and Scotland and the UK and Spain and Canada, United States, all over, every race, every nationality, every color, and we're all one. We make up a human race, and the humanity is, we are all one. It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter, the color of our skin. We're all human beings living a human experience. And we're really committed to breaking down those barriers, breaking down those walls of division. And really, our mission as coaches is to powerfully serve the world as human beings for human beings. So when you ask me, are you proud of that? You have no idea how proud I am of that, because I feel like we're breaking down the barriers. And as much as it seems like there's more barriers being put up, I'm looking for evidence that the opposite is true. I'm looking for evidence of us breaking down those barriers, and just showing up in the world as human beings, wanting to live the best life that we can, giving everybody power within themselves to live their best life too.
And to that vein, you also say after several hours and days of personal development, you realize that anything is possible if you put your mind to it. So I'm wondering if you can expand on that mantra for me and how you arrived at that philosophy.
Yeah, so recently I just created a vision board, but I had to actually hire a coach to create my vision, because I wanted her to see what was possible in me. Because what I realize is sometimes we don't really believe that anything in life is possible. When people say, I would love to be a millionaire, it's possible, but it's going to take some work. And are you willing to do the work to have that? Because that doesn't come on a silver platter, it takes work. So I believe that everybody has a certain calling or a mission in life, and they hear these little whispers and that lead them in the right direction, but they just don't believe that it's possible for them. So I always say, if you really truly believe it and you want it and you're willing to do whatever it takes to have it, everything is possible. You know, being a teacher for 14 years, somebody asked me the question, do you want to be a teacher or a coach? And I said, I would love to be a coach, but that's not possible. I went to school to be a teacher. And then she said, if it were possible, what would you be creating? And then I created. And then I realized, wow, all I need to do is take action, and this actually is possible. And then I started asking for help, finding people that have already done what I want to do, and I paid them to teach me how to do that. And then the world opened up for me. So now my vision is grand, and I'm like, I have no idea how to create that. But what I've done is I've invested in programs and coaches to help me find a way. So I truly do believe that anything is possible, and it takes work and a commitment to want it.
Hey, I always say that we always make time for the things that are truly important for us, right? Uh,
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm also curious to ask you about the notion of inclusion, acceptance, and diversity for individuals with disabilities. As you know from doing your research on me, I've dedicated my adult life to this work and making sure that people with disabilities have an equal playing field. So I'm curious to ask you your thoughts on the whole notion of inclusion, diversity, and acceptance for individuals with disabilities.
You know, it's really interesting that you asked this question, because when I was in education, my role was a special education teacher and advocating for students with special needs and making sure that they have a fair advantage in life and to be included in life. And in education, it was my personal mission to really create a platform of inclusion instead of exclusion. So for 14 years, I made it my mission to make that possible. And I really do believe that every single human being in the world has a place in the world. We're all human beings living a human experience. And it, people with, um, you know, disabilities, minorities, women, like everything, everybody deserves to bring out their full potential. And as a society, if we're not seeing the potential in every single human being, there's something wrong with us as human beings. So I believe that there is value in every single person. And it's important for us to see that value without the discrimination, without the barriers, without the boundaries, just seeing people as people and the value that they bring to the world.
Absolutely. And I'm also curious, you talk about value and bring purpose to people. I'm wondering for you personally, when your professional life is over and the last chapter of your life has been written, what do you want your legacy to be defined by?
You know, I again, I've thought about this a lot, and it seems like it keeps changing. But my legacy is, and my mantra and my why is, no person left alone. So for me, you know, when I started thinking about my why do I want to coach coaches? Why do I want to do this? My why was always based in, you know, my dad struggled with mental health issues. And I always wonder, I saw him struggling and, you know, being depressed and dealing with what he was dealing with. And as a child, I felt really helpless. And I often wonder as an adult, if he had somebody in his corner, if he had somebody to help him, where would his life be right now? Would it be in a different place? And so I believe that no person left behind, that legacy, Tina Brigley really made an impact in the world, and people in the world felt that they were heard and they got to live their potential because of her stand for what was possible. And I want that legacy to be, we are all one, and we all get to lift each other up. And when we all lift each other up, we all succeed. And when we all succeed, the world just is a better place. And I know that that legacy is going to happen. It's going to be profound. It's going to be impactful.
And my final question for you is, when you're not working, what do you like to do for fun? And how do you find your inner self as a person?
Yeah. So, it's funny because people ask me that, and I'm like, I don't really feel like there's a difference between my work and my life, because before anybody judges, I feel like my work is fun. I get entertained every day. But outside of that and creating, I love to play board games with my kids and my husband, and we like to go for nature walks. We love traveling, so we travel together as a family. And we actually invest in personal development together as a family. We do family seminars. My kids have done personal development programs. My husband does personal development programs, and he has a coach and I have a coach. And we're just really a family that values authentic leadership, values personally developing ourselves. And we see that as fun. Other people might not think it's fun, but we get like really, our conversations at the dinner table, Kevin, are quite hilarious. I often think we should put a hidden camera in the corner and stream it to YouTube, because people would get a kick out of what we talk about at the dinner table. But my life revolves around my family. I love being with them, and that's what really lights me up.
I always say that diversity in life is the key to uh, making sure that we all have a place in life to carve out as our own, right? So it's important that we all find a little piece of diversity and inclusion for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's, I've learned to slow down. I've learned that life can't just be about business, and it can't just be about personal. It's got to be, I don't like to use the word balance, but it's got to be aligned with what you want in life. And I feel like I have alignment between personally developing myself, growing my business, spending time with my family and my friends, taking downtime. And there's always room for improvement. I wouldn't say, I'm a pretty motivated and ambitious individual. So some days my purpose, my mission, that big why, and my legacy, it sometimes takes over because it excites me so much. But then I have to get back to, the reason why I want that legacy. And really it's for my family. And for
Absolutely.
my kids, my generation, my grandkids.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always say that everybody's portrait of success is a little bit different, right? So,
Yeah.
and, and we all have our own way of getting there. But I'm also curious to know, if people want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
Yeah, I think the best place, I'm on LinkedIn, and I think that's how you and I connected. Tina
Yes.
Brigley on LinkedIn. And also my website is highperforming.coach. We have different ways to reach out there, connect with me directly. But those probably are the two best platforms that I have right now to get a hold of me.
Hey, Tina, thanks so much for a revealing and consequential conversation about unlocking potential. I really enjoyed our conversation, and I want to thank you for hanging out with me on my birthday today. It's most appreciated.
When I picked the 15th, I knew it was a special day. And now you reinforced that with it being your birthday. And I want to thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and your platform to share. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. From one Windsor ride to another. It was great to see you, and have a great Windsor Friday, huh?
Thank you, Kevin. You too. Bye, everybody.